Hi and welcome to another video.
Hey, and these are our top 10 tips of how not to get ripped off abroad.
When travelling abroad, it's so easy to get sucked into the new adventures, the architecture,
The smells,
the food,
all the food,
the culture,
yeah,
and the food.
and the food.
And the food.
That basically you become vulnerable and you start spending more money than you possibly should. And so we're going to share with you today what we use when we travel abroad to make sure we don't overspend and also to make sure we don't get ripped off. So let's get straight into it.
Number 1. Always check the best way of getting from the airport to where you need to be, whether it's your hotel or a site or anything. Generally, you've got some heavy baggage, and so the most convenient way is by getting a taxi. But also, that could be the most dangerous because if you don't get an official taxi and you get some random dude who comes up and offers you a lift.
Yeah, don't do that.
Don't do that.
Quite often they are not official taxis. They're just a guy who owns a car. And so they won't be insured, they won't have the proper licenses, and they could even be a very dangerous person. So do yourself a favour and always go to the official taxi rank if you are going to get a taxi. And also, another tip is to find out how much it's going to cost you before you get anywhere. Now sometimes that could just be agreeing a price with the driver before you set off. But quite often, in some particular European cities, there is a fixed price to get from the airport to the city centre.
We had that issue in Greece. Because
Yeah.
we found we went to the taxi rank, is that right?
Yes, a rank. Yeah.
We went to the taxi rank and got in a cab, which was fine and all. But then when we got to our destination, you were speaking to the guy.
Yeah, so I said to him, so that's 38 euros, right? Because I'd read this on the website. And you could see the look on his face as if he was going to charge us a lot more than that.
And he was like, ugh.
But yeah, so always make sure that you know what you're doing with taxis. Number 2 on our list is car hire excess insurance. Now, if you were going to hire a car where you go, it's the most faffy thing that you could do whilst you're on holiday. There's a lot of forms to fill in, a lot of hidden costs, and one of those is excess insurance.
So car hire companies sometimes use scare tactics to upsell you excess insurance. This can be as much as £12 a day, but if you're hiring that car for 10 days, that's 120 quid.
Yeah, because they say to you, well, if you have even a minor accident or a small little scratch on the paintwork, that could cost you like £1,000 just to repair it. So they try to say, well, if you pay us £12 a day instead, then any liability is down to zero, and you return the car pretty much in any condition.
which sounds great, but
it's a rip-off.
100% of it.
Yeah, because you can get your own third-party car hire excess insurance, and it can be as cheap as £40 for an entire year's worth of coverage. We use this all the time.
All the time.
Anytime we hire a car, we get this. It saves us a lot of money. If you don't want to take out an annual policy, you can get it on a per hire basis. It can be as little as, or even less than £2 a day, which is a massive big saving on what you would get from, say, like Avis and Enterprise and that kind of thing.
We have had to use it once because there was a truck and there was a bridge.
Yeah, we lost a wing mirror.
We
The cover.
We lost the cover of a wing mirror.
It cost us €200.
So we paid that, and then when we got home, we just contacted the excess insurance people, and they sorted it out. For number 3, it's over to Jay, who's currently in Venice.
Okay, got another tip for you, anyone who's travelling on a budget and doesn't want to spend too much money. I'm currently in St Mark's Square, which is the most popular part of Venice, and as you can see there's quite a few restaurants and stuff lining the square. Now, this works for pretty much anywhere. Don't eat in the main tourist areas because they tend to inflate the prices because their main customers are the tourists, so food quality tends to be less, the prices tend to be higher. So if you do want to buy some food anywhere where you are, go a couple of streets away, down a little side alley, you'll probably find a restaurant that has more genuine food at a much more reasonable price. Well, that was a nice quick trip.
Welcome back.
Thanks.
Another example of this, about 5 years ago we were in Florence. Beautiful city, highly recommend visiting, it's amazing. We were in the Piazza del Signoria, I think I'm pronouncing that right.
Probably not, but we'll go with it.
I wanted ice cream because that's what you eat in Italy. So we found a little hole in the wall place literally on the square, and it was ridiculously expensive. Like
it's about €10 for like a little tub of gelato, like that big.
Tiny
Little thing. And then what, about 10 minutes walk away from the square?
Not even
that. We saw another gelato place, exact same size tub for €3.
It broke my heart.
Yeah.
I was like, gutted.
Number 4 is a very broad topic, and that is avoid all scammers and hustlers. Now, of course, this could be the entire video in itself of all the various different scams that there are out there.
And there are a lot.
There are a lot. But basically, just keep your wits about you. If something seems too good to be true, it probably is.
Remember, nothing in life is free, and so if they say it is, then there's something fishy happening.
Yeah, so examples that we have witnessed ourselves is people like selling overpriced drinks or ice cream, things like that, in particularly in hot climates.
In Rome, we had this specifically. They're always selling you water in Rome, but there are so many fountains that are in the centre.
Free fountains.
Free fountains. Why buy water when you can just turn a tap?
Yeah. Also, another common tactic is friendship bracelets.
Those are
where
scary.
Basically it's a little bit of string that they try and force on your wrist. We've had it in several places. We've had it in Ibiza, we've had it in Paris, we've had it in Milan.
We dodged that one.
Yeah.
I was like, babe, walk faster. And we just...
And they are often quite organised. So sometimes, particularly the ones that we had in Ibiza, there were these ladies who were just walking down the main, I want to call it prom, it's not a prom, by the beach.
Walkway by the beach.
They just seem to be sort of some relatively nice ladies who are just trying to offer you this thing. But they will often have their like husbands or other men basically on the side. So if anything does kick off, they will just jump in and take over. So
it's a bit scary that.
Yeah.
We saw a few people get had that way, and it was pretty intense.
Yeah.
So yeah, watch out for those friendship bracelets. Tip number 5 is getting the best bank card or credit card for travelling.
Yeah, so a lot of bank cards will charge you an additional fee when you spend abroad, and often about 3% on top. But there are a few credit cards that don't. They don't charge you no fees whatsoever, and they give you the best rate possible. This is the card that we use, which is the Halifax Clarity card. Again, they give you 0% load, which is the exchange rate, and so basically you get perfect rates every time. And of course, this isn't the only card available, there are many more. Of course, if you're not in the UK, just check where you are for the banks that do this. It's very important to look at what fees your bank charge you, because you can get stung big time.
Yeah.
And related to that, point number 6 is be careful when making cash withdrawals when abroad. A very similar idea to the credit card is banks will charge an additional fee for withdrawing money abroad. Again, it's about 3%, plus they may also charge an additional fixed fee, say like £1.50 on top of your cash withdrawal, and that's on top of any other fees that the ATM are going to charge you as well. So I've got a different card for that. This is the Nationwide Flex Plus account, and again, this is just for the UK. If you're abroad, if you're in another country, check out the accounts that work for you. That card gives me free cash withdrawals, there's no interest to pay.
A trick that ATMs ask is whether you want to take that currency out in pounds or if you want it in the local currency, and it's always best to take it out in the local currency because then you won't get their exchange rates at the time.
But that's a very bad conversion. Do not accept that. Press the button that says I do not accept this conversion, and always withdraw in your own currency. Even if your card does charge you hefty fees on top, it's still often cheaper to not accept the conversion. And in fact, I've even seen another little trick which I didn't realise until we went to Venice. And that is, there was an ATM there in the Venice train station. There was a Travelex. Don't like you, Travelex. They didn't even offer to not accept the conversion, just said, this is how much we're going to charge you. And I was like, nope, cancel.
And following on from that, tip number 7, always pay in the local currency. So say you're in a shop and you found this amazing skirt. This happened to me in Greece. Amazing skirt. I'm like, I totally want that, I need it. It has to be in my wardrobe ever.
Have you worn it since?
No. It's been cold.
It's true.
It's true.
Wait till the 2 days of summer we get.
Yes.
Yeah.
Anyway, I went to go and pay with our credit card, and the lady behind the counter asked me if I wanted to pay in local currency or in pounds. Now, if you pay in pounds, you will get the exchange rate that the bank that the credit card machine is using.
And again, they'll offer you a very bad rate.
It will be terrible.
Yeah.
So always pay in the local currency when purchasing items.
Tip number 8 is beware of currency exchange places. Now, it's a very similar principle. You need to make sure you're getting the best rate if you are going to be taking cash with you. There are a lot of dodgy places, shall we call it. Tip number 1, never change at the airport. Always try to do it before you arrive at the airport if you are going to get it before you arrive. If you do it when you do arrive, again, don't change at the airport. They give you the worst rates because you're a captive audience.
If possible, withdraw cash from an ATM, as we've stated in previous tips, or convert your currency in your own country, and that way you'll have the best conversion rates.
So if you are going to go to a currency exchange place, make sure you get a good rate. I always use this app called XE, and basically it gives you the current rate as of today. So if you say, type in say £100, in fact I'm going to do this right now, £100, it's telling me it's €118. So obviously that is like the ideal rate, so you're not actually going to get the exact rate at the currency exchange place. But it should be something like 110, 112, something like that. If you're not getting that rate, just walk away, go somewhere else. I mean, don't believe the sign that says 0% commission, because it's a load of bollocks, basically.
That's when you go, light bulbs,
Yeah.
that'd be bad, nothing's free, remember, nothing's free. Another bonus tip, don't exchange your money with some guy you met on the street who's telling you he'll give you a better rate.
Yeah, he may be giving you fake notes.
It'd be great when you spend those and they go,
Yeah, this is worthless.
Tip 9, mobile phones. International roaming charges can be astronomically expensive.
Yes, there's always news articles saying that someone turned on their roaming and then they came home and they were charged like £4,000 for a 2-week holiday into Magaluf or whatever. So always make sure that you know how much it's going to cost you, and if necessary, turn your data roaming off. If you do want to use data roaming, make sure that, well, check with your mobile phone provider if they offer an international data plan. We are with Free here in the UK, and they offer roaming to, I think it's 71 destinations, I want to say that, is that right? Yes, it's 71 destinations, I wrote it down. And then you can use all your data and your calls and texts for no additional cost, which is amazing.
When we go to South Africa, I just buy a SIM card at the airport.
Yeah, so we always get in a Vodacom SIM, because they
Yeah.
have a shop right at the airport, which is great, and it's also very convenient. And they give you the perfect rates that you would get in that country anyway, which is another thing you have to be aware of actually, because if you do buy a SIM at the airport, sometimes they charge you more for the privilege. In some countries, they may charge you £10 just to get a SIM with no data on it whatsoever. In fact, they do that at Heathrow, so be careful at Heathrow. And finally, tip number 10 is do your research. Now that might sound very general, but what I actually mean is find out how much things should cost where you're going, because obviously some countries are more expensive than others, and what you may consider to be a reasonable price where you live may actually be quite expensive for the destination you're at.
For example, an 8-ounce sirloin steak in London will cost you 18 to 20 pounds.
Somewhere like that, yeah.
In South Africa, that same steak will cost you 10 pounds or less.
Yeah, I think we've seen it for about 7 at somewhere like Spur, like a chain.
It's still a great steak.
It's a great steak, yeah. So just make sure you know that.
So that's our list. I hope you found it helpful.
Yeah, so what other travel tips have you got? I mean, we've given you 10, but there are loads out there. So tell us down below in the comments what you do to save money when you're abroad. Oh, and don't forget to give us a like, give us a subscribe, hit the bell and all that lovely stuff. And we'll see you soon with more travel tips videos and vlogs coming very soon.
See you soon.
Thanks for watching.